Hello and welcome back to another episode of FeltTube. It is June 1st, 2023, and I think I'm going to dive into this kit right here, so I thought I would do an unboxing of it. It is by Bucilla and it's called In the Garden. I just wanted to open it up and show you what the kit looks like before I get started on it, and then I will update you as I get some of the items done. I'm going to start probably with these garden gloves because I've seen those stitched up before and they're super cute. So I'd like to do those, and then maybe the watering can next, and then maybe the dragonfly. That's kind of the order I'm going to go, and then probably that, and then the butterfly last, and that's only because I have that other kit of butterflies that I still need to finish. And yep, so let's go ahead and open this up and see what's inside. Hello and welcome back. It is Saturday, June 3rd, and I wanted to show you what this kit looks like now that I've had a chance to dive into it a little bit. So I've got you at kind of a weird camera angle here because I'm trying to find good light at this time of late afternoon. I hope this works. It's just going to have to do. I had originally, when I showed you this, the unboxing of this or the unpackaging of it, I said I was going to dive right into the garden gloves because those are my favorite. Well, once I started cutting in all the pieces and separating them, I realized that when I haven't worked on felt in a while, I sort of have to get warmed up again because when I switch from cross stitching to these felt kits, it's just a different kind of style of stitching that you have to do. So just like I said, I wasn't going to do the butterfly. I decided to start with the butterfly because I wanted to warm up. And I thought that was a good one to warm up with because it didn't require too many steps. It didn't require any embroidery. As a matter of fact, you just had to applique the pieces on. And then I'm getting ready to do like a beaded cord. I'll talk about that in a minute. But it was an easy one to get started on. So I did dive into that one first, and I will show you where I've gotten with that. So I did. Let me move this out of the way. I went ahead and did do the steps like it called for. I embroidered this little back scalloped edge onto the back of the butterfly. It wanted you to, before you did that, to use this back piece as a template to cut some poster board, and because this is going to have a poster board in the middle. Now, in the past, I've used the chipboard that comes in the kit, but I decided to go with just the little bit thinner poster board this time. It's just a little bit easier to work with and easier to cut. So I did go ahead and cut that. They want you to do a little bit smaller. So I did that already because they don't want you to stuff this. It's supposed to be just the poster board on there. And then this was the other part that I also did, is I cut all of the pieces for the butterfly wings, and I appliqued those all on. So all that's left to do on this now is to add all of the different color sequins, and then right along the edges where you see sort of that dotted line there, I don't know how my camera probably won't focus that much, but there's this outline all the way around these colors here like that if you look, it calls for a beaded chain. So you can kind of see on there without the glare, there's this beaded chain. Now, I've done that before, and it's on one of the Halloween kits that I did, and it's really simple to do. So that's where I got with that. And then I put that aside because I just wasn't in the mood to do any sequins yet. And I went ahead and grabbed the dragonfly, and I went ahead and started doing the applique on it too. And then what they wanted you to do is fold this in half. When you start, you're supposed to fold this in half and then put this as your template for cutting the poster board. That was kind of tedious to do, but I managed to get it done. And then these are the pieces, but see how thin they are right there? I don't know. That poster board, it seems like it's going to be hard to fit in these wings when I do it. So I don't know. It's kind of fiddly. You have to find your way sometimes with these things. I just don't know if it's going to work. But, you know, see what I mean? It's like there's hardly going to be any room for that poster board right there. It's just kind of strange. But we'll fiddle with it when the time comes. And then when all is said and done, the body then is going to go on top of that. So, but now it looks like my sun is shining really brightly on my table, which I was afraid of. So let me see if I can adjust the lighting and get it so that it's not quite so bright. I don't know if that's better or not, but we're going to go with it because I don't have much more to show you. I just want to show you that I use my little floss organizers to organize the colors of embroidery floss, and that makes it a little bit easier. And then I wanted to just show you how I put the little sequins in these little containers for this kit. So these are the colors, the beautiful colors that I get to use in this kit. And believe it or not, there's no white sequins required in this kit, which is odd. I don't think I've ever worked on one kit yet that hasn't required white sequins. So that's it. The only other thing I did, like I said, this was, let me put these back in their bag before I lose these little pieces. And then, where is my little bag? There it is. I just like to store them in these little Ziploc bags to keep the pieces together. These tiny little pieces that can get lost. And then the next kit that the next ornament that I started doing the individual cutting on is the bee skep. I cut out the back, which I might need to iron that little piece there. It's got a pretty good crease in it. And then I cut out the front. Yes, that's another thing that I do unconventionally is when I'm working on these ornament kits, I find it most of the time okay to cut the numbers off, especially when it's really obvious where they go. I mean, it's obvious to me which piece is which, and if I run into trouble, I mean, it's just really simple. I mean, I understand that this is going to go there, and that this flowers are, they're going to, I can look at the picture to see which one goes in front, which one has the sequins, and then I know that that's going to go there. And then the other thing that's left are just the pieces of the bee. And it does sadly look like I need to do some satin stitching on the bees. So that's going to be fun and time consuming. But I need the practice, right? I'm getting better at it, but then when I don't do it in a while, I kind of lose my skill. But all that's left here to do are the bees, and so I'm getting ready to cut out the pieces for the bees, and I can tell that those are going to be the heads for the bees. This is the body, obviously the front and back. Front and back, they're identical. And then I've got these little wings here that are supposed to have poster board in them as well. And you just fold them in half like that. That's kind of the front and the back. So there's going to be each bee is going to have 2 wings. Okay, that's as far as I've gotten. I'm probably going to work a little bit on just cutting the rest of those pieces out, and maybe if I feel like embroidering, I might embroider on some of the embroidery that needs to be done here. I haven't been in the mood to do any sequins yet, so I'm just kind of doing all of the applique cutting and all the fun stuff like that I find completely relaxing. And then the other ones that are left are, these are all the pieces for the, what is this going to be, the watering can. So that's just some scrap felt there. I kept that scrap felt because these little circles here are supposed to have satin stitch in a teal color, but I may just cut little circles out of teal and put those on instead. Or I may just add sequins. I don't know, I might do something with that, but I just kept some scrap felt just in case. But these are the pieces here. You can see we're starting to get a little bit more pieces on this, but nothing drastic. Just, there you go. Those are all the pieces for the watering can, which is going to be adorable. Make sure I don't lose any of those little pieces. Should probably get a bigger bag. I'm always trying to fit them in these snack bags because I have so many of those, and I hate to throw them away after using them once because, you know, single-use plastics. Trying to get away from that, but I have so many of these bags anyway, so I'm just trying to reuse them. What's next? Then we finally get to the pieces for the garden gloves. These are all going to go on that. So yeah, that's why I wasn't quite ready to start with that one after I hadn't done felt in a while, because it was a little intense. Not really intense. I mean, you know, it's all easy stuff. There were just lots of pieces and parts. But anyway, there we go. That's all the parts for the garden gloves. That's going to be cute. And then I'll show you the very last one, which is probably my least favorite one in the whole kit. It's the little basket of flowers. This one right here. And I think it's my least favorite because at first look it reminds me of a taco. But I know that's not what it is. All right. Let's just show you the pieces of the taco, the flower basket. Quite a few pieces to there too. And that's what those all look like. So, yep, something fun about, let's see, is it that one? Which one is it that has a bow? Oh yes, this one right here, there's instructions on how to do the bow. It's really easy. After you cut it out, you're just supposed to fold that behind there and that behind there after it's cut out, and then tack it, and then you bring this, I think, up around the front like that and tack it, and that's what gives you that little bow right there. I'm going to leave you with this as I continue on to do a little bit more cutting on appliquing and embroidering, and then when I feel like sequencing, I'll do some sequins. Okay, see you in the next clip, and I'll show you what I get done. As I was working on my butterfly, I came across a technique that they called a beaded outline or bead outline, and this is what Bucilla has used in a kit I used that I did in the past, and so every once in a while they call for this technique, and this is what it looks like on paper. You can see that you string 4 beads on. So you come up from the bottom after you've knotted your floss, then you thread 4 beads, and then you bring the needle straight down after that 4th bead. Then you come back up in between the two middle. You come up in the middle between the 2nd and 3rd bead. Then you rethread the needle, or then you re-string the needle through the last 2, and then you repeat by putting 4 more beads on, and you keep going along. So that's what the instructions look like. And now I'll show you what it looks like in action. All right, grab 4 beads. Like so. Make sure they're nice and snug next to each other. Go down. You can see how I'm just going down right after that last one, just like that. Then you come up right in between, in the vicinity of the middle 2. Rethread it through the last two. And grab 4 more and repeat the process. And there you have it. Welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks, I think, since I started this kit. It's June 15th now. I was going like gangbusters on it, and then I got diverted with some cross stitching, so this has been put on hold probably, I would say, this past week. But I did get some things done, and I wanted to show you what they look like. So I was working on the... I can't remember if I said I was going to work on the butterfly first. I just truthfully can't remember what I showed in the last clip. So there might be some repetition here. But I think I was telling you that I needed to warm up. When I haven't done felt in a while, I need to warm up a little bit. And so I wanted to start probably with the very first one, which was the butterfly. I do think I did say that in the last one. So I got the butterfly done, and this is how pretty it turned out. Look at that. So I had a little bit of issues. Well, so I didn't stuff the body. I ended up not stuffing the body because it's just too thin. And I think I was saying that they wanted you to put chenille stems inside these little antennas. Well, I can tell you that I could barely even get the things stitched together. And they just want to twist, let alone put a chenille stem in there. So I just sewed them together, but it kind of put a twist in them. But that's okay. You know, I'm not going to be too picky about it. It looks cute. Then they requested that you put this hanger in between the 2 pieces of felt on the top of the head. But when I did that, when I would like hang it, it wanted to kind of hang almost kind of up this way, like I think that's how it was doing it. It was hanging weird. So then I decided to put it embedded in between the wings instead, and then it was, oh yeah, that's it. So when it was on the head, it was wanting to hang back like this, and then when I did it on the wing, it wanted to hang 2 forward like that. So I ended up just keeping it attached in the wing and then attaching it at the back of the head, and now it does finally hang straight up and down now. So I don't know, maybe it would look better hanging like that. I don't know, it just depends on, I guess, on what you're going to do with it, but minor issue. So much sparkle. I love the beaded chain, how that turned out. It's really fun to do. And in the back there, you can kind of see where they had marked a number 4 on the felt on the other side, and it was really thin. You can kind of see the number 4 showing through there. But very cute. So then I went ahead and did the dragonfly, and it turned out so cute, but I would say this one was a tedious one to do. Very tedious. So I'm definitely warmed up now with my felt skills, because this one was somewhat advanced. Now they did want me to put a chenille stem inside this body. Same thing though, it was just so thin that I just didn't do anything. I didn't stuff it or anything. I just sewed the front to the back, and I think it turned out fine. And yeah, it was just kind of fiddly putting the wings together and stuff, but you can just sort of make it do what you want if you put enough stitches in, and I think it's really cute. So yeah, there's how that one hangs. And then, like I said, then I kind of got diverted and started working on some cross stitching, but I think, did I tell you I got all the pieces cut out for everything else, so all the rest of them are ready to go. I think I cut out all of the pieces with the other ones, and then I think the only thing I didn't cut out, I really want to work on the garden gloves next, and I cut out everything except these little flowers because I did want to keep track of, they do look a little bit different, and I wanted to keep their numbers on them just so I can keep track of where they go on the glove. Okay, that's it. I'll check in when I have another one to show. Don't know when that'll be because I'm really invested in my cross stitch projects right now. So I will have, when I have something to show, I'll be back. Well, good afternoon. We are rolling into July. Today is July 12th. I think it was the last time I recorded a clip for this kit was June. So just moving a little slowly on it, but that's okay. I'm kind of a multi-crafter, so I bounce around from project to project, and that's just kind of how I roll. I think in that last clip, I mentioned that I was going to work next on either the garden gloves or the watering can, neither of which I did. I picked this kit up and had a strong urge to stitch the little beehive here, or a bee skep. I don't know what you call that. I'm not a beekeeper, but it's one of the two. We'll just call it a beehive. I don't know why I chose it. I just decided to work on that one, and lo and behold, I almost already have a finish. So here is my almost finished project. Oh, and the sun's coming into my window here. Isn't it adorable? Look at that sparkle. So I have my hand in it because I saved the last part to do with you here on camera. I'm going to stuff it and sew it back up. I didn't run into any issues except one minor one, and I will point that out to you now. If you know me and you have watched my channel for a bit, you know that I am not a big fan of satin stitching. And I usually try to avoid it, but I thought, Christine, you're not going to get better at it if you keep avoiding it. So I've been trying to embrace the satin stitching. And these two bees both called for satin stitching. Let me make sure that that's focusing right there. And I think I did a pretty good job. But after I did one of the bees, I realized that I made a mistake. And I was actually supposed to do it the opposite way that it shows. I was supposed to do the bigger black part on top and then leave that yellow, black, yellow, etc. And I just assumed, without looking at the instructions, that it was these thinner stripes that I was supposed to satin stitch. And in the end, I'm okay with it. I think it looks adorable, and you can't really tell. It's just that my bee looks a little bit more yellow with black stripes versus in the picture where the bee looks more black with yellow stripes. Can you kind of see that? Right there. Let me focus. So yeah, I think either way you do it. I don't know what's the more anatomically correct bee, but I think mine looks just fine, and we're going to keep him. So I went ahead and did the second bee the exact same way so that they would match. And there we have it. I think it's so cute. This was just, this one went together really easy. It's very much, this should have been the beginning project, because this one was much easier than those two that I started with. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to say about it. I sewed it all together except for this last little bit here where I'm going to just do some stuffing, and then I have my thread and needle right there that I'm going to go ahead and just do a little whip stitch to end it, and then this one will be done. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, and I got a bunch of polyfill here. Probably don't need this much because I always overstuff. This is just the polyfill that you get at Walmart, the inexpensive stuff. I kind of like to separate it a little bit, and when I stuff, I just kind of put some in, and then I like to just, if it's nice big opening like this, I just use my hands at the beginning and try to stuff it all the way into that tip up there. So just going to take some more little pieces. And stuff it along. Maybe I'll fast forward this a little so you don't have to actually see me. Sometimes it can take a little time to get the stuffing just right. I'm not going to make it too fat, just, you know, I like a little bit of a loft. I've learned that you don't always want to, it's very easy to overstuff, and over the time I've noticed that I don't like my stuff as fat and fluffy as I did at the beginning, but that personal preference. Everybody can do their stuffing to their own liking. This kind of has some little scallops here, so I'm just going to try to push some of that in the end. And when I sewed this, when I left the opening, I kind of came in so that I sewed around these little corners here, so that kind of allows me to be able to stuff some stuffing down in those corners, just like that. Fluff it up so it's not too lumpy. All right. And then if it's really hard to close, you know, if you know when you go to sew it and it's really hard to close, then you know you might have stuffed it a little too much. This is pretty lofty, but I'm doing it a little loftier because I'm going to push some of that stuffing back, and then when I close it, I want to kind of then, you know, fill in the spot like that, you know. You find your way. It's easy. I mean, it's just, don't take it too seriously. And what I do is I kind of flatten it down a little bit like that. Now this might be, it might be a little too fat. See, I always do this. I'm always changing my mind. I don't want it to be flat and round. I mean, I don't know. It's personal preference. But I want it to kind of match the rest of the ones in the kit. So, yeah. See, taking more out. I'm having second thoughts now. So now I'm just pushing it around again. Because you want it to be even too. All right. I think that's looking a little better. I think I'd had it too fat there. But I need a little bit just right on this edge to fill that in. Kind of like that. And I think that looks good. We're going to call it good. Kind of push it like that a little bit to get it. All right, so let's go ahead and sew this closed. I have my needle there. And I don't know if you can see or not. Hopefully we're in focus. Do I have enough in there? See, I'm doubting myself again. Okay, I think that's good. So to close it, you just do a whip stitch, applique stitch, also known as a whip stitch. You just take these little bites like that. Am I in focus? I'm just kind of doing a whip stitch. You just come from behind. I like to trim off those little fuzzies at the end, but you just kind of take a little bite from the back side and come through. You don't need to do a real big chunk. You just, I mean, you want to do it kind of small, kind of like that. You can see how it's kind of puckering up here a little bit like that to get it to fit. So you just want to, you could pin it if you want, but I just kind of stretch it as I go because it's going to work out in the end, you know. Just kind of, sometimes you can work some of those little puckers in as you go. Felt is very forgiving, kind of like mold it where you want it to go. I'm focused there. So if you follow my cross-stitching channel, I already mentioned it, but I'll mention it here too, just in case you don't watch that I was just between that last clip and this one, I was invited to apply to the Plaid ambassador program. Plaid is the parent company to Bucilla, and I had just posted actually a picture of this particular project on Instagram, and that's where I got invited. So I did apply and happily was accepted to their program. So I am now a plaid creator. Let me just do a little stitch here to close this up. So what that means for me is I get to earn reward points by posting on social media any of the plaid products that I'm using, which most of the time for me that's the Bucilla kits. And what it means for you is you get more content because I'm going to probably be posting more. Now what I would like to do in the future, up to this point my videos have been mostly inspirational videos, just kind of showing what I'm working on, some reviews, things like that, which I'm still going to do those. Those are definitely my favorite, but I am going to try to incorporate some more tutorial videos on like how to. So stay tuned, and I'm going to show just individual things like how to apply the sequins, how to do the applique stitch, how to do the outline stitch, you know, etc. Because I've showed a lot of that stuff already, but they're kind of embedded in my other videos, so I think I'm going to make some standalone videos of those. Can't promise when that's going to be because the logistics of filming a tutorial are difficult. Like, I don't even know if this is turning out right now, if I'm even in focus or in frame. That is definitely the hardest part about filming tutorials, but I am definitely going to try. So we're good. I did a nice little knot there, and then what I do is I just stick that inside there, pull it out the other side, somewhere in the back like that, get my scissors and clip it, stick my needle. So I'm just going to kind of push this to kind of fill up that little spot back there, fluff it down, and there we go. I think that we're going to call that one good. Okay, I have decided, since this video is getting kind of long, that I'm going to go ahead and upload it as a part 1, and then in part 2 I'll do the next 3 ornaments. I can't promise that that's going to be the next thing I do because I have a lot of fun Bucilla kits that I want to work on. I have one that's got like the house plants, and I may switch things up a bit and work on a different kit. So we'll see. But there will be something good coming, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.